I heard you missed us. We're back. Welcome, everybody, to the 2025-26 Dania Beach Highlight pregame or preview show, along with players manager, or he's got a much more fancy title, but he's the players manager, Benny Bueno. I'm Dave LaMont, chief announcer. Mike is here as well, just on the opposite side of the camera, so we're ready to talk quite a bit about the upcoming Dania Beach season, and I'm very excited about this one. I saw your roster preview sheet, and we're going to get into all of that. We've got things coming back that we have every reason to be more than happy about when this thing drops in December.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. You know, it's like I always say, I spend 9 months waiting for it to start and then 3 months waiting for it to finish. But, yeah, we're looking forward to it. Everything is set. We're ready to go. We already got a couple of questions, and you guys got to give me a chance because we're going to be talking about a lot of things, and I'm going to try to look at my phone here just to get all the questions in. But yeah, the tournament, we'll start off by letting everybody know that the tournament starts this coming Thursday, December 4th. Big note for everybody, please remember we're not playing Wednesdays this season, we're playing Tuesdays instead. So it'll be Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday matinees, and then Tuesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night.
Right. It's
1 o'clock and 7 p.m.
Right, back to the old Tuesdays, just back from my day. So
Yeah.
our dark days will be Monday and Wednesday. We'll remind you only 4,000 or 5,000 times during the year because there is the change this year. But while there's change, there are some things coming back as well. First off, we have some sponsors we need to thank.
Yes, we do. We have a couple of sponsors that have come on board. I have a couple more that are going to probably come in right around the beginning of the season. But right now we have TPI, which is a company that we use here for direct mail and things like that here in the casino, as well as IGT, which is a major casino machine company, slot machine company that provides a lot of services for us here.
I think I've helped them over the years.
Probably.
Not here. I'm not allowed.
Probably.
Yeah,
Probably.
I've not. There's no probable about
They
it.
probably hate me because I've never dropped not even a coin in there.
And I'll take care. I'll double it down for you. Don't
Thank you.
have
I
any fear
appreciate
about
that.
that. No, we do want to welcome them. Reminder of that schedule. The matinees are going to still be at 1 o'clock. The evening performances are at 7 o'clock. Just remember that there'll be no Dania Beach Highlight Monday and Wednesday during the 25-26 campaign.
How do you feel about that? Because not too many people are happy.
I'll be honest. I like the 2 days off.
Yes.
But
That's the thing.
let's see how it goes. We
Yeah.
haven't gone through that yet. As I said, Tuesday matinees take me back to the old days when we used to have Tuesday, Friday, Saturday matinees in the wintertime.
Right.
In my era of Dania Highlight, my first era in the 1980s. So there'll be a little nostalgia for that.
Well, I'm not going to lie to you. I was a little disappointed because I also like the 2 days off, and so do the players. But they finally told me why they did it is because on Tuesday is a very slow day in the pari-mutuel world as far as horse racing and dog racing. So we will not be the only game in town on Tuesdays, but we'll probably get some traffic that we wouldn't get on Wednesday.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about, first off, this very handsome jacket you have there, Mr. USA Highlight.
Thank you. Representing.
Yes, I was going to say representing what I believe a successful trip to Gernika.
Yeah, I mean, I've been dying to talk about it. I've been not quiet about it, just nobody's really asked. But first off, I need to, thank the people that helped us get there because the Casino Dania Beach was very generous. They paid for all our flights and gave us a little spending money to take with us. And then we had just the local community. We started a GoFundMe. We got close to $3,000 through that. We did a little thing down in St. Pete where everybody played a tournament and chipped in $20. So we made a couple $100 there. It was just overwhelming was the support that we got from the people in the highlight community. That's what, they kept telling me, well, go here and go there to local businesses. But I'm just happy that the people that love highlight were the ones that supported us and got us there. That was very nice. That's the first part. The second part was the trip itself. The Basque Country, I've been to Spain, Portugal, Italy. I've been to a lot of different places, but there's something about the Basque Country that I really like. Maybe it's the jamón, maybe it's the, just the chiquiteo, which is going from bar to bar to have a little sip of wine. A lot of things that kind of call me to go there. But the experience of Gernika Highlight, the teams that played, the team that we took, and the competition itself, I'm not going to say overwhelming, but it was just a great experience all around.
So tell about the team that you brought over.
So we took the Sorzabal brothers, Johan and Gorka. They were already over there competing, and they know that court very well. And we also took the Langhang brothers, Benny and Matt, known as Douglas, his playing name. And, they played the first match. They had a lot of pressure going over there, first time playing that partido style. First time playing outside of the United States. I don't want to say first time playing on a traditional larger court, but it was a change. They practiced here for a couple of weeks before, and I'm not gonna say they had an easy game, but they played against Team Mexico, which was. It couldn't have gone any better. They were able to play their game, dominate, and they won the first match. And then the Sorozabal brothers played against Team Spain, which was intense. That was a great game. It was against Eric, that used to play here at Dania, and Bilo, that used to play here at Dania.
I remember Bilo, sure.
Yeah.
I've heard, of course, you remember Eric.
A warrior team that was up against Johan and Gorka. And the first set we won. It was 2-15 and a 10-point tiebreaker if you tied. So we won the first set. I think it was 15-13. It was pretty close. And then we lost the second set, I think 15-13, very close. Actually, I think the second set went 15-14, 14-14. Then they won. And then the tiebreaker went point by point by point by point to 9-9, and we were able to win that match. So that put us in the semifinals, which then we played against Team France, which was Ledouche that played here in the first Invitational. With T. Basque, which Basque played here in that little short Battle of the Palace that we played. And a tough team. I mean, it was a great game, but people look at the score. It was 15-13, 15-13. We lost both. But it was an intense game, and they played great. It's not like we played bad and we lost. They played great. So that put them in the final and put us in the consolation third and fourth game, which we played against Team Spain. But unfortunately for them, fortunately for us, Eric had hurt himself. So they put in the substitute, the B team, which is a kid named Cosme Aguirre, which he was going to come play here in 2017, but we had problems with his visa. He never made it. And Atine, the kid that plays here with us now. So that was a good game, and we were able to win that match, and we got the bronze medal.
Yeah, very nice. How's Eric look? I mean, it's been a while since we've seen him. People wonder whatever happened to him.
To who?
Eric.
Eric looks great. I mean, I saw him play the first night we got there, like a couple of days before the tournament. He played a match in San Sebastian. It was San Sebastian. He played great. Like, I mean, he looked 100%. Like, he played really well. He was on top. It was a tough match. It was him and Bilo again against, can't really remember. I saw so many matches that I don't remember. But he looked good. He looked really good. And it was good because, we're happy for him. He's playing great. He's playing. But we were a little disappointed because we knew it was going to be a tough match against him. So, but yeah, he played very well.
Yeah, I think people are wondering because he dominated here for so long. He's, if we have a Hall of Fame here, well, actually we kind of do. It's just sort of hidden in the back over there. We need to bring that out. He would certainly be in it for the way he ran this building. And
without a doubt.
And forced, the thing I remember most about him, and I wasn't as exposed to him. By the time I came back, he was starting to wind down here. I think I got 2 seasons, was how he affected the play just by showing up.
Yes. Yeah.
It was really strange, and obviously we've seen so many incredible players over the years, but it seemed like guys knew that Eric wasn't going to do anything stupid.
Right. He was very consistent.
Right.
Very, very dependable as a partner.
So the pressure I think the other guys felt like, I got to come up with something. And then that forced them into maybe taking a risk they wouldn't normally take, and maybe they one that they aren't good enough to take. And Eric would just go, oh, thanks.
I lived that with Michelena in Miami. We would do the same thing. We would sit there and we would all just look at each other like, are we just going to let this guy win another game? And we would try so hard that we would risk shots, and he would either get to it or we'd throw it bad. And, like he deserved to win. Eric deserves to win because he won and he's a great player. But at the same time, they were given a lot of points by people trying too hard to take him out. But you're right. Eric definitely should have his number retired here, which would create a problem because the kid that's using his number now is using it because his father wore it. So, but we could get through that. But he definitely needs to, to have a ceremony here and have his number retired.
Yeah, that would be nice. I think a lot of people would like to see what he's up to. People have asked. By the way, speaking of asking things, if you want to throw questions at us in the chat, we can do it either as we go along, as a transition from topic to topic, or we can just do a whole big thing at the end. I'll leave the producing end up to you.
Yeah. Actually, there's one here that's a pretty good one. Are the uniforms less psychedelic and more representative
I wrote
of the
that question.
colors this year? Listen, last year, I'm not going to lay blame. I'm not going to say anything, but I can tell you that I had very little to do with the uniforms last year. Somebody wanted to design them, felt that we needed to get crazy, but just to change things up, and that's what we got. Now, in years past, I think I've demonstrated that what I like in the uniform is a modern traditional type uniform where
Okay.
the green is green and the yellow is
Yes.
yellow or gold is gold. And so we did go back to that. We have red, blue, white, green, all the colors. The 7 is not quite brown. It's more of a maroon color, but it doesn't look like any of the other shirts. So, yes, we got a modern traditional. We have the shirts here already. We have a sponsor. As a matter of fact, IGT is the uniform sponsor, so they paid for all our uniforms for us. They're nice and they're not flashy. They're modern traditional, and I think that the people will be surprised and pleasantly surprised. And for the Spanish speaking folks, everybody is going to see it eventually, like maybe tonight or tomorrow. We do these funny little skits around the casino.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And so there's a very popular Cuban couple that is here from South Florida. They got like 2 million followers on Instagram and all those other stuff. So they came in the other day and we did a little skit with them showcasing all 8 shirts. So that should be coming out hopefully but before Thanksgiving. But, it was supposed to come out yesterday or today, and maybe it'll be today or tomorrow.
I'm assuming that if you're watching, you have subscribed to this channel. If you haven't yet, it obviously costs nothing, and it helps us as well as hopefully helps you, and set up for notices and things when new videos like that drop, and of course performance notices. Another thing, you can watch an archive performance very easily. So if maybe you want to see a game that you heard about, or I bet on that game and I won. How did that happen? Well, you can go back and look at a prior performance. In addition to, obviously, we have a live chat and going, which is sometimes wonderful, and sometimes, I'm ready to jump out the window. But we have all of that. All those features are back for the 25-26 season. As far as the chat goes, I don't know if I've ever addressed this. It's sometimes things are asked at us. Sometimes you're busy and not able to watch.
My friend Jet in the 77, man. You're funny, man. You got a lot of good questions, but I mean, yeah. How far past the 10 line? I'm assuming you're not saying like after it hits the front wall. You're talking about the guy approaching. It's different. It's a house rule. Like Orlando Highlight, you had to serve between the 10 and the 11 line, or is it the 11 and the 12 line? Anywhere in there was good. In Miami Highlight, we had a line that was probably about 1.5 to 2 feet behind the 11 line. So it's a house rule. I kind of monitor it. We don't have like a set rule, but if I see somebody either serving too far back or too far past the line, then I'll say something to them aside, not really, publicly. But that's my assumption. When I read it, though, I laughed because I thought you were saying like, how far can an overserve go?
Oh, well, no.
to be legal.
No.
That's how I read it. But and by the way, the objective this season is to serve the ball in the box. Because somebody asked me, like, are you going to allow them to just serve like crazy again? And it's never changed since the beginning of time. The objective is to serve it in the box.
Yeah, we did have an issue with that last year. I have to admit, I would say in the years I've done this, I don't know if I've ever seen a season, and these are shorter seasons than they used to be, obviously, but I don't think I've ever seen a season where there was such a universal struggle, and it seemed to be almost like a virus. It would be passed on from player to player, front or back court, singles or doubles. Agreed, it didn't matter. What I was trying to say as far as the responsiveness from us in the chat, I can't do it. I've got a bunch of other things that are the responsibility of the announcers. I might see something. Benny, I know, monitors the chat from time to time, especially if he's not in the cage.
Especially when it's going crazy.
Well, that too. There have been times where he will come running in and go, I got to talk about something in the chat, and we'll hammer it out.
It's funny because when I sit in the cage and I'm scoring the game, I usually have my phone on there and I'm watching it, but I'm watching the chat, but we have a TV that shows the games in the cage, and it's put there on purpose so we could watch the game on the TV during the game, and it has like a 3-second delay, but the YouTube feed has like a 5 or 7 second delay.
Right.
So I'm scoring the game, I'm looking at the players, I'm doing my job, and something happens and I miss it for whatever reason. I just look at my phone, and 5 or 7 seconds later, I get to see it. So, but I do look at the chat, and I don't really participate much because I just I'm busy. I'm doing other stuff. But you're right. Sometimes
it's physically impossible. I'm not even sure I can
come up and talk about it.
Yeah,
sometimes.
I'm not even sure I could enter an answer. So if you have something, we'll do the best we can to answer it on that day, even if it's at all possible. But don't take it personally.
I'm going to ask Dave this question. Let him answer it. Someone was saying that if you have not played Highlight, then your opinion is invalid. of play.
Mine?
Do you agree? No, the person. If someone has never played highlight
At all,
is their opinion valid or invalid in your opinion?
It depends on how much they've watched. I think we have a lot of people who have come here for years or went to Miami for years or now go to Casino Miami to watch the highlight there. Or I get the names mixed up, but you know what I'm talking
Magic
about.
City.
Magic
Yes.
City, thank you. And if you've watched enough, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I think you can form an opinion. This is not a difficult sport to understand the basics. It's a more difficult sport to understand the nuanced stuff, and that happens after years of either hacking around on the court or watching it for as many years as I've been able to do. But I think it's okay.
You know, I'm a little hesitant to give my opinion on it because I listen. Fans are fans. There's people in the football stadium that have never caught a pass or never ran the ball through the seam, and they're screaming and complaining when someone gets
All the
tackled or
time.
drops the ball. So yeah, I guess it's okay to be a fan, and it's okay to have an opinion of the play, and it's okay to have an expectation, especially here because you're betting on the game. So I understand that. But I'll give you a quick example. Back when I used to play, like 2000, 2001, around that era, I caught a ball and I threw the ball to the outside with game point, and I missed by an inch. I mean, it hit the wood. It's bad. I had to get off the court. I was probably more upset than anybody on the planet, but I got a lot of ridicule for that. I got a lot of flack for risking it with game point. And, you know, at that point, back then, now I don't feel the same, but back then I said, listen, I'm here to play highlight and win games. I mean, you take the risk when you bet on me. And I'm not saying don't bet on me or don't bet.
No, I understand. Yeah.
I'm saying that I have a style of play, and I am never going to tailor that so you can win a bet. And I don't see. It sounds bad saying it, right?
No, but your point is you're here for Benny as much as the fans. You're here to worry about your win-loss percentage, your checks, your livelihood, and that with that comes your risk as a fan of betting on me. It's nice that you do it. You have
Right.
faith in me or my partner or both of us, whatever,
Right.
but there is an inherent risk. That's what gambling is all about. That's why it's called gambling.
That's why it's called
right.
it's a gamble.
So I don't do it here, obviously, but I used to bet on highlight in the past, and yeah, I took some great wins and had some terrible losses. Yeah. But no, to the original question, I think you have a right to criticize. I mean, look, guys are going to make mistakes that look silly out there. They're going to see a guy drop a serve. Right. You're going to see a guy drop a ball that's going about 20 miles an hour as opposed to the one coming at 100. That's the one that drives everybody nuts, is how can they catch a ball coming at about 125 at their face, and then 3 balls later there's one in the air that's like this. You can almost catch it barehanded, and they drop it. That's just sport. How can a golfer hit a ball from the trees and have it curve, either slice or draw, and get on the green to 20 feet away, and the same golfer 100 yards, nothing in front of him but green grass and a green, chunk a wedge into a trap.
Right.
It's the same thing. You can't be perfect all the time. Yeah. So that will happen. The same thing with the serves.
I go a little bit more to the competitive nature of it. Like, I'm here to win, and I want to win. And everybody that plays for me, I said it a couple times during our seasons the past couple years. This is a different energy. We're going to look at the roster in a few minutes and the ages of the roster. I mean, we have Oleron. We have a couple of guys that are in their 30s. We have a more, the average is probably 23 years old. That is young. That's very young for highlight. And they're coming over here. They're not used to having people bet on them. They're not used to having people scream at them when they lose. And it's just a different energy. And so everybody wants to win. And, it's funny because there was a player last year that was consistently over-serving, and it became more of a nervous what do they call it when the guy can't throw? A yip. It was a yip.
Yeah, that's a good word.
It was a yip. Like he would win. He almost didn't want to win the point because he was scared he was going to have to serve. And just since we're on that topic, I think that scenario, it amplified all the other serves because there's a guy that might have served over 4 times in the whole season, but at the wrong time because the other guy just did it 3 times, and now all of a sudden he's bunched in with them. So, anyways. I like to step back and look at everything objectively.
All right, something that Benny mentioned that starts right away with our first point, really, on December 4th on that Thursday night is the Dania Beach Invitational is back again. Same format? Everything the same?
Yes, everything's going to be the same. The month of December is going to be the qualifier, and it's going to get everybody in a seed on the bracket. Not everybody because there's only eight spots and 11 players in the front and back. That'll get through the end of December. I think it's the actual last day of December because we don't play the 31st. And then that following Friday, which is like 3 days later, the first Partido match will start.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. And just to note, because of the way the number of weeks worked out this year, we'll be playing our final on the 14th of February.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's great.
Yes. Yes.
'Cause that was-
Didn't you have an issue with that last year because it was Valentine's Day or something?
No, but yeah, the professional bowling world where I'm involved doesn't start until February 22nd. I don't even know how much I'm going to be involved in that this year. No one knows anything, so that's actually great news.
We do run through
I know that
the
part.
28th.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about the Biscane Cup soon.
Yeah.
We're kind of, as a matter of fact, let's just go ahead and talk about
Well,
it now.
I was going to just go over a couple things first
Okay,
about
go
the
ahead.
tournament itself.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Just to remind everybody, it's the top 8 front quarters, top 8 back quarters, and you are paired by your seedings. So let's say 1 and 1 are paired, 2 and 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, so forth. They're seeded 1, 8, 2, 7, 3, 6, 4, 5, and we start picking them off. 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, 3 versus 6, 4 versus 5. The first week, obviously, if you win, you continue, then there'll be a third-place game. Sometimes that is really exciting. I remember Arietta winning that a couple of years ago, and it was his last night as an active player, it was. And that meant a lot to him. Even though it wasn't first place, the third place was a significant victory for him. So you talk about intensity. A lot of folks are starting to get used to it, our fans at Dania, but if you've never seen a Partido in person, I highly recommend it. It's cool to watch on YouTube. Look, I'll be honest, a couple of them are duds. It happens. It's like anything else. Super Bowls are duds too, some of them, and some of them are great. But do that. Now, the other tournament, the one that came up last year that you were kind of working on, I got something, but I can't say anything, which I hear at least twice a year from Benny. I got something, but I can't tell you what it is.
Yeah, you probably hear it like 6 or 8 times,
Right.
but one of them comes through.
And I feel like, but I always want to say, but you can tell me. Who am I going to tell? I go home and tell my wife and my dog and my cats. But
Maybe it's superstition, man.
that's
I don't
okay.
like to jinx myself.
it usually ends up being the right decision. So, but yes, the Biscane Cup is back.
Yes.
And boy, did I love that.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was, for me, it's like planning a wedding. Like, you're just busy, and then when the wedding ends is when you get to enjoy it. And that was just like a whirlwind the whole week that it was going on, and the weeks before, just getting everything prepared. But yeah, when that last Partido was playing, and I finally stepped into the audience and I just watched from a distance, it was very fulfilling. To be able to collaborate with the Highlight League and to be able to get the players that came to play here to play. People were a little disappointed that they didn't play in a lot of Canela play, but I took the stance that I understand they're here to play that tournament. They're here to play hard and win that tournament. And I've seen, unfortunately, people get injured trying to qualify for a final playing Canela play. So, you could have an opinion on that. Everybody's going to have an opinion on it. But that'll probably happen again. But this year, we're still talking about it. And if I had to guess, I'm not a gambling man, but if I had to bet, if I had to put $2 down, it's probably going to be, I believe it's the 21st, the 22nd, and the 23rd. It's the Thursday, Friday, and Saturday before we close.
Got it.
So not the weekend that we close. That's the 26th, 27th, 28th. It would be the Thursday, Friday, and Saturday before that. Now, again, don't hold me to that because we're still kind of throwing things back and forth. And somebody asked in here if it was going to be a similar field. And yes, one thing that is going to be, very special to the whole tournament is Imanol Lopez is retiring. And this is his farewell tour. He's coming here, and then that's going to be it for him in the United States. Then he's going to go back to Zumaya, which is his hometown, and he's going to play his very last game. So there's a lot of things that are going to be leading up to that, a lot of promotions, a lot of, a lot of hype because the Winter Series that's going on now is kind of his last hurrah as far as professional play. So that's one thing. The other thing, yes, the field is going to be very similar. There's going to probably be the same players you saw, Ritz Urquiaga, Oresti, which unfortunately is not returning here because he's doing very well over there. In the back quarters is kind of where it's still up in the air. And there is talk about the first place team, very similar to last year, the first place team of the Dania Invitational gets a spot in the Biscane Cup.
Yeah.
And we're talking about whoever loses the final Partido and ends up in second place will also play the Biscane Cup, but not together. They will be paired up with somebody coming from over there. So we don't know how that's going to play out. We're talking about it. We're discussing the logistical part of it. But these guys that do the winter series and the highlight league, they're pretty thorough when it comes to planning things.
What feedback did you get? Because that was broadcast back to the Basque Country on, I guess you said, sort of their version of PBS. And they came down early. They set up, you may have noticed, if you were here, there was a camera near where the front judge usually stands. They had obviously tried to protect it as best as they could. You saw the advertising banners up on the wall. What did you hear about that?
Well, when I went to the Basque Country for the tournament, everybody that saw me hugged me, thanked me. They were very appreciative that we put that on. They said, "Listen, you got to do whatever you're going to do to get that to happen again."
Good.
Another thing about the tournament, it was very, because of the time difference, they had to play it in the matinee, which was not good for our fans, and it wasn't really great for them either. So what they're talking about with their people at ETB is that they're going to just play it the following Monday on ETB back in the Basque Country as a continuation of like the Winter Series. The Winter Series plays every Monday night at I think it's 7 o'clock over there.
Okay.
So what they're going to do is we're going to play the tournament. They're going to film everything as if it was live, and then they're going to edit it down to like a short, like a mini documentary of maybe 2 hours or 3 hours, just previewing the whole tournament and its highlights.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about the roster for 25-26. You mentioned a few folks aren't back. Quite a few are, but there are new players as well coming back. Actually, one guy who I'm super happy about is not new, but he is a returning player, and that's Argoitia. But let's go through the new guys.
Yeah, so Mike, would you mind handing me that so I could take a look here? I mean, I should know this by heart, but I got so much stuff in my head from the
Plus a couple of these names, I have to admit, I haven't nailed down just yet. So
yeah, but you're good at that. You'll get it down. There's one that's kind of like like I have to actually ask him. Kind of like, remember Lee Boys? I was calling him that for the longest time,
but it's
and
Libois.
It's actually
he's
Libois.
French.
So
Yeah.
my mistake.
That was easy.
But first off, we got veteran Olaran, 36 years old from Pau, France.
That's a good kid. Man.
Yeah, he's a big fish. I mean, and listen, he came here. He didn't come here to Dania, but he came to the United States in 2000. I think it was 12 or 13. He played Orlando. He played Fort Pierce, and he always wanted to come back. He left with the taste of Canela play, and he felt he could do good. And he's married with a child, and he's got a little business over there. He's a teacher at the French school in Pau. And, he was kind of like he wanted to do it, so he's making a lot of sacrifices to be able to play this season. I don't want to say it's one and done, that he's not going to come back. But at 36, you're already looking at, like, how many more years am I going to do this? So he's really excited. He's really pumped. He actually played a great game the other day, subbing for Johan, which twisted his ankle. And we'll talk about that in a second. But he did very well. He played with Gorka, and they actually won. So he's one of the guys coming here that you will know. We remember him from the Battle of the Beach. Yes,
the return after we were dead tournament.
Yes,
and he was. I remember that because you called me in. I was lucky enough to be able to do that. And
you remember what happened in the final?
Well, first off, I'm watching this guy. He's not a big guy. He was racing around the court all over. This is 4 years ago, so he's 32 then. Yeah. And this guy's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's just like a stunt man out there. He jumps, he falls,
everywhere,
he runs,
and he gets hurt on the first or second point of the championship partido. Yeah. Tried to gut it out, but he got hit in the foot.
Yeah, he got hit with the ball. He got drilled. I went in the back with him, and I saw that, and I was like, "There's no way this guy's going out there." He went back out there. Gernika and Lecce just moved him around. He couldn't win it.
They ultimately had to stop, right?
Yeah, but he was strong. He went back out there. So looking here, I'm going to go over the people that you may or may not know first. Right. Of course, everyone knows Johan. Johan is Gorka's brother. He played for me on Team USA. He played for us here in Dania for maybe 2 years before the shutdown. He was one of the guys I really felt bad for, him and Goishari and Aratz and a couple of other guys, like they were like 18, 19, 20 years old when we shut down, and they were like, stepping into their career when we ended up closing. And he's always kept in touch with me. He's a great guy. He loves, I can't say never, but I haven't seen in a long time a player that works as hard as this kid. This kid practices, he trains, and He's phenomenal. He did twist his ankle about 4 weeks ago in a tournament over there. He sent me videos. I've seen his progress. He should be good to go. I don't know that he'll be 100%. He's going to continue to rehab when he gets here, but he is slated to start the first day. Which, by the way, for the fans that are out there that are wondering, right before this show, I uploaded the first entries for opening night
on the website.
Yeah, it's on the website. You can go and you can see the entries, you can see the game pages, you can see the bets that we're offering, and all of that. And maybe the day after Thanksgiving, I'll be uploading the whole weekend. So I have it done. I just haven't uploaded it. So we also have a kid named Eki. Eki is a player from Vitoria. He's the same town that, Amigarena, Ferranda, Jairo, Aron that's playing with us now. He's a guy that never really played here in the States. He played a lot of partidos coming up. He's not young. Let's see, he's 33 years old, so he's not old either. But he played for a very long time, and then probably about 4 or 5 years ago, it was either right before or right after COVID, he went to Mexico City to play in a tournament over there. Fell in love with the city, stayed there, has a business there. And we've always kept in touch. And he's always telling me, hey, maybe next year. Hey, maybe next year. And it's just been going on for that. And this time, again, very much like Oleron's, making some sacrifices to be able to come and play. But we're extremely happy to have him. I mean, he's as big a catch as Oleron. He just doesn't have the exposure that Oleron has gotten, because Oleron's just kind of stuck with it, and he's like everywhere. So this kid, Eki, in the backcourt, strong kid. Not tall, but he's a strong kid. I'm slating him to be in the final match. He's that good. He's that good. He's going to give Gorka and Atine and Oyonard and all the guys that have been right there every season, he's going to bunch in with those guys at the end. Then we got the new guys that some of them are very young. If you seen some of the pictures of them, we have Javier. Javier's 20 years old. He's got a great story. I'll just give you the brief because it's a long story, but when he was very young, he fell in love with the game. He lived right by Madrid, which is roughly a 4 or 5 hour drive from the Basque Country. And so he fell in love with the game, and his father and his mother would drive him to Gernika or Marquina in the Basque Country to practice, to learn how to play, to hone his skills, and then would drive back home. And they would do this several times a month until he got to a point where they figured, you know what, let's stay around here so he could, learn how to play. And when I was there, I was lucky enough to see him and another player that's coming play in a partido at Durango with Atine. One of them played with Atine, and the other one played with ORD, which also plays here. So it was a very good partido. Saw them both play. That's where I said, hey, you guys want to come and play at Dania because they look good. You're gonna like Javier. He's a shooter. He loves to shoot shots. He's got a great costal, good rebote. He's young. He's 20 years old. He's gonna make mistakes. We all did. I made mistakes at 20 years old. And next to him, I'm going to put a Metz, because a Metz is the player that he played against when I saw him in Durango. And he's another player. I mean, this kid is from Beretua. He grew up with Argoitia. Okay. So they're buddies from the same town, Beretua, and he's another player where he's going to be good enough to compete in this tournament, and we may see him in 2 or 3 years, making a leap to a bigger stage. That's all I'll say.
All right.
And
he is a front quarter, as is Javier.
Yes, both him and Javier are front quarters. We got Argoitia, which we talked a little bit. He just turned 18.
That's my guy. When he was here 2 years ago
18.
at 16.
He's the kid. He was here at 16, and he moved. His mother actually moved mountains so he could, move his schooling around, and he
That's
then
tough.
Yeah, and then he he was very honest from the beginning. He's like, hey, I'm playing this season, but I got to go back to finish my schooling, and hey, that's cool, I get it. But a lot of people, myself included, were disappointed that, like, dude, you come over here, you had a stellar season, you're playing some great partidas, and then you're not coming back. But he was always the same. I'm coming back, just not this next year. So he's coming back, and we're happy to have him.
Yeah. I got to talk for just a second about him, because the thing that killed me about him in a good way, at 16, he had a head for the game that a guy who's 26 would have.
Yes.
Positioning. Where do I need to be to catch this ball in an easier manner than making it a hard catch? And that's an art form.
Yes.
The smart players, especially the backcourters, can see his vision for the game. Obviously, at that age, he has no physical limits, and if anything, he's going to get stronger as he gets older.
Yeah.
I'm dying to see if he still had, and also the other thing he had was a passion for the game.
Yeah.
That was obvious. So yes, when I saw your YouTube show and you went over that, I was like, yes.
Yeah. Me too. I was very happy to, it's one
Loved
of those
it.
things where you're sitting at home and nothing's going on and you're just home bored and lonely, and all of a sudden you get a WhatsApp message and it's like, hey, it's Ortsy. I was wondering if you have a spot for me. I said, yes, I do.
I just fired 12
I'll make a
people.
spot. I'll make
You're
a spot
in.
for
Yes,
you.
we're going to have a much larger roster, but screw that.
Yeah,
you're in.
So it was good. It was good to get that message on a bored and lonely day.
Yeah.
Other than that, we have two more back quarters. This is the one that we have to ask him how. I got it down as Del Pooch. Del Pooch.
Okay.
Del Pooch. Del Pooch.
He's French.
He's French. He's not old, but he's not young.
boy.
He's 28. Yeah, he's a big boy.
He's a big boy.
He's a big boy.
He's a Dave
He's gonna be
size
wearing
backcourt.
He's going to be wearing your
He
uniform.
and I have a lot to talk about.
But I get somebody like him every season. Like, he wasn't really on the original list, and that's okay because the list is long. There's a lot of players that I want to bring over here, a lot of players that I've discussed bringing over here, and then they change and they move. So somebody put in the chat a little while ago, and I'm sorry if I'm, not paying attention to the chat, but we're talking right now. I'll get to that. They asked what happened with Unda. Where's Unda?
Oh,
What
yeah,
happened
yeah,
to
yeah.
Unda?
Yeah, he's not
well,
on here.
Unda
Yeah.
took his talents to South Beach, and he's playing elsewhere now. So, and I'm happy with it. He's a good guy. He's, when he came here, he signed his contract like 12 days before the season started. He had no idea, and he was relentless. Like, he would send me messages every day, and he would say, hey, I'll play front court. I don't care. I'll come. I don't whatever. And he got such a good recommendation from everybody. Like, when he wanted to come here, probably like 10 people, Diego, Goicoechea, other guys that I played with said, hey, you got to give this guy a chance. He's a good guy. So he came and played a season. Now he's playing elsewhere. So Del Pooch was the same thing. Like, something fell through at the last minute, and I called my contacts over there. I saw some guys from Spain. I saw some guys from France. And he got the call up. So,
all right.
And you know what? I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to be totally honest with you. One of the reasons I'm most excited was the passion that he displayed when I was considering it. I told him, hey, would you be interested? And we went through that kind of, moment of like maybe, maybe not. And he was just like, I'm so motivated, and he was just like on top of it. I would send him something. He'd send it right back. He was, I think he's going to be good. Now, can he play? I've seen some video. I've gotten a lot of good recommendations from people that know him. He plays that circuit over there with Oyenard, with Vicente, with Garcia. Like, he's in that group. So, yeah, I mean, now he has to come here and play. That's the only thing left.
Well, I'll check with him on opening night.
Yeah. And last but certainly not least is number 17, Campendeghi. Campendeghi is 20 years old. He's another one that I got a message from several guys. Eggy Gurin was one of the guys that, he had him playing for him, and he had him playing in different partidos. He played many partidos with Eric that I had the privilege to watch. Good kid, tall, strong. He comes from a family of athletes, and this guy is one of those guys where you look at him, he looks like a Doberman Pinscher. He's just like, his veins are popping, and he just looks strong. Not bulky strong, but just like fit. And so, again, I was kind of going back and forth, and I had one spot left and 4 people to pick from. But again, they just were saying, give this guy a shot. He's going to play good. He's going to be good. He's going to get better, and blah, blah, blah. You got to train him. So I'm expecting him to come here and, need a little bit of time to, to adapt and get get his sea legs, as they say. But there is one note to this this kid. He called me up about a month ago, and he said that at first, he was going to be able to do his final exams online the first week of December. And the university came to him and said, that's not going to be possible. You're going to have to be present to do it. So he's taking his final exams the first week of December. He'll be here, I believe, the 10th or the 11th, and he'll be in the program either the 12th or the 13th.
All right.
So his chances of qualifying for the finals or for the partidos is limited, and it gives the other guys a little bit of an advantage that, he's going to come in at 0 when they probably already have 50 or 80 points. So, but that's it. That's the new guys.
All right. And then the old guys we know, Atine, Oyard, Denel, Urchua, Gernika, Libois, Gorka, Salaya, Auron. Tambor is back.
Yeah.
Scrappy. So Oleron is not the oldest person on the roster.
No.
It'll be interesting to watch those two butt heads.
Listen, they've been playing together since they were children. Since they were very, very young. They're not from the same town, but they're the same region. And yeah, they know each other well. So and you know, it's funny because you think, oh, they're friends, they've known it. That even makes the rivalry
Absolutely
bigger.
In addition, Laborde will be back, Garcia in the front court, Oyenard, and Vicente, guys that we've come to admire their games over the years very, very well. So that roster is also available if you want to watch our YouTube channel. There's Benny's video, a little bit more detail about these guys.
Let me take a look at the chat here.
That's okay. We talked about the Biscane Cup, actually.
Interesting.
So I think we are down to part 7, which would be talking to our fans. But if you're just joining us, where were you? We told you 6 o'clock. I mean, we were pretty much on time.
Yeah.
1 and 7 will be our times. Matinees at 1 on Tuesday, Saturday, Sunday. Did I leave one out? No. And then Tuesday, for some reason, I want to say Friday matinee like it's 1985. Tuesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, all at 7 o'clock. We are dark on Monday and Wednesday. Just make note of that. If you show up here Wednesday for Highline, can't help you.
Hey, everybody, I just realized that our good friend Inigo Unda is in the chat, so give him some love, man. Say hello. He's a good kid. He's still learning. He's a good kid, but he's still learning. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. A couple of little jokesters going on. You don't need to be a plumber to recognize a leaky pipe. I don't know what that's in reference to.
I think that's probably the back to the conversation a little while back about can you understand the game without having played it.
That's true. That's true. Listen, like I said, everybody. I always say. I mean, I've been saying this for years, and it goes back to my playing days. But I even say it more so now because you buy a ticket to a show, right? And you go to an arena that has 20,000 seats, right? And some people are in the front row, some people are in the last row, and some people are up on stage. Everybody has the same right to their opinion to the show.
Oh, sure.
So I don't criticize somebody that's never played. Unless, unless they're on the wrong path, then I really have to. I educate them. I don't criticize them. I educate them.
So there's the schedule. I think we're just down to maybe a couple of last thoughts before we wrap it up here. But
I want to thank Mike and of course you for coming in and
this is going to be fun.
And talking to the people.
Quite pleased here.
Oh, watch and wager. How will doubles be selected? Doubles what? Doubles games or double?
The teams.
The teams.
Oh, that's
okay. So the teams. Wait.
For about the day-to-day Quinella games.
They're asking, are they going to be teamed up, same doubles, team members all season, or?
Oh no. During the qualifying and during the whole everything except for the partidos, it's a random draw. I just I make the programs. What I do is select who plays what games, and I'll give you a real brief on that. Years ago, the formula, and I say this in board meetings, and I say this in the boardroom with my bosses and everybody, the formula that was created many years for highlight, I'll take it back to 2005 to 2010. There was 36 players. There was 13 games. There was a formula that can be we got to that formula by trial and error over many, many years. So now I'm playing the same amount of performances with 22 players and 9 games, so the mathematics is a little skewed. I can't say, Dave, you're going to play games 1 through 4 every day, and Mike, you're going to play games 5 through 9 every day. I can't do that because what happens is there needs to be crossover. You might have to play game 2 and play game 9, so I don't have enough players to have an early, middle, and late games. So what I do is I have a grid that I rotate players through, which means you play this game, this schedule every day. And in theory, at the end of the month, everybody should be close in numbers of games played. Now, the post positions, I've gone through this before. Again, very briefly, I don't really care what post position you play in. I hit a button, I print it, and I send it out. Years ago, there was manipulation by the matchmaker to make the handicapping more difficult. I don't deal with that. I push a button, I hit print, and it goes out. All I select is the games that what player plays in what game.
Yeah, I think now doing it that way with a smaller roster would be really difficult. You'd be having the same 2 or 3 guys that would wear the same shirts every night.
Right. And the way I came up with this grid and this rotation of schedules per player was in the first year. In the first year, there was issues with hey, Oyenard was the one that came to me and said, hey, this guy's got 13 more games played than me. What can you do to help me play more games? And at that time, I was doing it traditionally. I was thinking, you're a late game player. You're going to play these games. But then I'd have to put them in another game, and somebody had to pick up the other game. So I not right away, but during the first month of the qualifying, I saw it was lopsided. So I started brainstorming on how can I even it out a little bit. And it wasn't until the third season last year that I implemented it, and everybody ended up with the same. Now, when someone scratches, it's all off the table.
Oh, boy, is it
every
ever.
every man for himself. And, but yeah, so the only time that players will be playing together consistently is once they make it to the bracket and the partitos on Friday nights.
However, what I do miss from the old days is where we are right now. We're below the announcer's booth. Across the other way is the players manager's office, which you don't use very much. But I got
a bad knee, and it's on the second floor.
Yeah,
so
you ain't working that.
Yeah, and you know what? Right now, with my staffing, it looks like I'm going to be in the cage pretty much all the performances.
Okay.
So I have a little office where they used to play cards right behind the cage, and I just make my programs there. It's real simple. I'm right close to everybody. It's nice. I sit in that office all year long, bored and lonely because there's nobody in the back area there. So I look forward to when the season comes. It brings life to the locker room. It brings life to the court, and it's something that I miss throughout the year.
Well, in the old days, in the 80s when I was here, Fernando Orbea Sr. was the players manager, and he would sit in that office, and I knew when he was doing the entries because when I have direct sight, although there's a fence and all sorts, protection for the cage, he would not have the main light on. But when I saw the desk lamp come on,
yeah. I do the same
might
thing.
see a little hint from the distance of cigar smoke.
Right.
Then he was doing entries.
That's what the players used to tell me back when he used to be the player manager, was that he would turn the lights off and he would sit there and just look out the glass, and you could just see the little red glow of the cigar that he was smoking. And you knew he was watching because you could see the cigar tip. Anyway, that looks like that's most of the questions.
Okay.
It's great. I'm glad that you guys were considerate and you didn't, pound me
wait
with
till later.
questions. But so we're just about a week away from go time. Everything seems to be ready. I'm just like I tell everybody, because people ask me all the time, how are things going? I'm just waiting for the planes to land. Once the planes land,
Right.
that's it.
Guys
We're gonna
get here.
get
Guys
rolling.
aren't here yet. If you're wondering, they're coming from France or Spain. They're last-minute arrangements. They're buttoning up things back home. Argoitia's probably taking a test, trying to move on to get ready to go. So we've got an age range from 38 to 18 and all points in between. We've got some tremendous players coming back, and I'm pumped about the return of if you've not seen Argoitia yet, I know I'm probably over pumping him, and he'll watch. He won't play very well, but and also getting Oleron back is major.
Yes.
I'm just if you weren't here for that battle at the beach, which really was the revival of Dania Beach Highlight, as it turned out, Oleron was absolutely spectacular.
Let me answer a quick question here, because they just mentioned that I didn't answer the question about Watch and Wager. Watch and Wager, of course, is the outlet that takes our bets throughout the state of Florida. And, yes, we sent them the contract today. Everything's done. They're going to sign it and send it back. All of our contracts are so antiquated the way things work around here. They're just auto, renew. We don't even talk about it. All of a sudden we just find out that everybody's taking our signal. The people in Connecticut, you guys, again, I don't like to get ahead of myself, but we're in negotiations with Winners and My Winners and those people. And for those that don't know, there was a little bit of a transition over there where some of the people that had, I don't know if they purchased it or they financed it, but they're coming down from the boardroom to help the operations. And I had a great conversation with the other day. They're very, very motivated to promote Highlight and to get get more people to bet it, not just our regulars, but just bring it to the newer audience and try to make it the best it can be. They told us that there was bad weather over there, that a lot of the sites were closing early because of the storms, and I get it. It's that season, but just keep one eye on the betting outlets that are there, because I'm hoping that we're going to be a little bit more visible and not just on the TV screen, but
we have a pretty good Connecticut audience too. I'll notice in the chat sometimes people will be talking about their locations, and we do have a lot of Floridians, but yeah, Connecticut, and of course the shared history of this building with the old days of Milford Highlight.
Yes, correct.
When they would bring their guys down in the winter, and we would have one of the best rosters in the world here back in the 70s and in the 80s.
Yeah, so Watch and Wager, Connecticut, My Winners, and the outlets over there. And all of the South Florida or all the Florida pari-mutuels will also be getting our signal.
All right, I think that's going to wrap it up. So we want to take a moment to thank all of you for watching. If you missed any of this or want to watch back, obviously it'll be in the archive at our Dania Beach Highlight YouTube channel. We're going to be in action on December 4th, a Thursday. The schedule for the last time tonight: Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and matinees on Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday. Those are 1 o'clock. Every evening performance begins at 7, starting on December 4th. The Dania Beach Invitational qualifying, 5 points for a win, 3 for second, 1 for third for each player. That begins immediately. First point really starts counting towards all of that. So I want to thank Mike for making it in here. Of course, Benny, it's good to see you again. And
It's always
see
a
a lot
pleasure
of
for
each
me.
other, of course,
Yeah.
over the next few months. And I'm looking forward to that, and certainly looking forward to seeing the world's fastest game one more time here at the casino at Dania Beach. So on behalf of all of us here, I'm Dave LaMont. Thank you for watching. We'll see you December 4th. Keep an eye out for that new video, by the way, that Benny mentioned with the jersey reveal coming up very shortly on our YouTube channel. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you. We are excited about 25-26. I hope you are as well. We will see you here at the casino at Dania Beach. Good night.